Bitcoin, it's now time for a full technical analysis and halving Bitcoin prediction from Sensei Crypto. And now on with the video.
What we're going to be looking at is the previous cycles. So there's been three cycles. 2012, which was, let's find the exact price for you guys in that cycle. Let's go to a different chart. Let's go to Bitstamp Exchange, and we go to 2012, November 28th, something like that. November 28th, 2012. November, October, November, November. There we go. So the price was about $11, $12. And in that cycle, the maximum price that Bitcoin achieved after the first halving was about $12,000. So from the point of halving, it was at $12.50 to the maximum price of around $11,063. That was about a return of 93 times. So there was a 93x in the first cycle, and you can see it was very explosive, but some people might say it was in its early days. Of course, it's going to go up that much. It has nothing to do with the halving. But then we look at the second cycle in 2016, in July of 2016, which would have been around July of 2016 was just about, let's zoom in for the people that aren't watching on TVs. It's about here. The price was set around $620. It was just here. As you can see with this halving, as soon as the halving occurred, it was on the 9th of July. So you go around here, the price was $674. The price did actually go down about 32% in the 3 weeks after. So you can see that just because there's a halving doesn't mean you're going to go to the moon straight away. It does cause volatility. It can be a sell the news event. There hasn't been too much volatility since the halving yesterday. Yes, that we did drop to nearly 60,000, but there hasn't been too much volatility. Of course, we haven't had a 30% drop like we did in 2016, which was the halving before last. So we did have a big correction. But once we had that correction, we can see that we went on this very, very big bull run. So we went for a price around 638 all the way up to 20,000, 19,600. So we had a 30x. I will reply to everyone's comments soon, but yes, we did have a 30x since the point of halving, not since the cycle bottom, but from the day of the halving, we had about a 30x return. So again, the halving was the catalyst, or some people may say it's the catalyst. I do believe it plays a role into it. And we had a 30x, and then we had one more halving before the one we had yesterday, which was in 2020. It was on May the 19th. So we go to 2020, May the 19th, which was around here. The price was, we can go into the daily time frame here. So we can see exactly what happened last cycle on the day and the days following. So we might have an idea of what's happening in days to come. So we go to May the 11th of 2020. So let's find May the 11th. Which was, let's find the exact day so we can see what the price action was. May the 11th, here we go. So on the day of the halving, we can see this is the candlestick right here. We did have a red day, and then the 3 days that followed were very bullish, and then we went sideways for 4 days, and then we went down for 5 days, and then we went up for 5 days, and then we went sideways for 5 days, then we went down and sideways for 10 days, then we went down for 4 days, and we went sideways for another 20 days, and then the bull run sort of started. Then you had in about 4 or 5 days, you've had a sort of 30% move up. And then again, about 2 weeks after, you had a 15% correction. And then the bull run didn't really start until a couple months after that. It was sort of October, a few months after, and then you had the explosive move up. So just because the halving happened doesn't mean in the next couple of weeks where it's going to be explosive moves up. Yes, there was 20% moves. There's probably going to be 20% moves up, 20% move down. You're not going to miss out straight away, but it does have a catalyst that we are going to start moving up. So what happened then is in that cycle, we went up to $69,420. And that was on a few exchanges. We saw that on this exchange, it was exactly $69,000. I know on Coinbase it was $69,420, I think, which is obviously a little bit significant. And that was an 8x return from the point of halving. So what I've noticed is first cycle was a 93x. And then if you divide that by 3, the cycle after was a 30x, a 31x. The cycle after was about an 8x. So what do I reckon now? The halving price that we were at yesterday was about 64,000. That was the price of Bitcoins. Yesterday, at the point of halving, the price was about 64,000. What do I expect for this cycle? And by this cycle, I mean in 2025. Where do I see the high? I do believe the high of the cycle will be in 2025. And just based on diminishing returns, the first cycle being 93x, the next cycle being 30x, the cycle before that we just had being 8x, I imagine it's going to be 3 times less. So something between a 2 to 4x from the levels we are at now. So I do believe the price of Bitcoin is going to surpass 100,000, and it can even go to just above 200,000. So my target, I'm not saying there's going to be a $1 million Bitcoin. I think it's quite a conservative target. Some people might call me crazy for calling this prediction quite conservative, but I do think Bitcoin in 2025 will reach a price of 150,000 to 200,000. So yeah, that's where I see Bitcoin going. I do see Bitcoin's price going to somewhere around this area here. So if you're looking at the daily chart, I believe we're going somewhere around here. And I do believe it will happen quite quickly. Most of the gains will be in 20-day time frame. That's why I'd like to be invested. That's why I am invested. Will I be picking up some Bitcoin along the way? Yeah, I mean, if we do get a 20-30% correction in the next month or so, if we come back down to the 50,000 region, then yeah, I think that's a good next great place to buy. Can we go as low as 20,000, 15,000? I believe they're off the cards now. I don't think we're going any lower than 20,000, 30,000 anymore. We have had the halving. We haven't had any terrible news come out. Yes, there can still be a recession that could bring us down to 30,000. Can it take us down to 15,000? I don't think so. I think I can safely rule out 15,000 now. And as we were going up, it was becoming more and more apparent we weren't going to have the secondary crash we were looking for. And that's why we've been dollar cost averaging in, and that's why we've been buying at 30,000, 15,000. I know Martyn's the only price Martyn had paid was anything that was under 16,000 for Bitcoin. That's the price we believed that Bitcoin was worth at the time, and that's the price we put a significant amount of cash in. That's the price we were looking to buy some altcoins. We bought XRP at 30 cents. Anyway, I'm not going to go into all those details. However, once the market structure was changing, once we broke 30,000, it was becoming more apparent that the bull market had started. And I don't think we've seen the massive gains. What I do believe will happen now is when we go into the Bitcoin dominance chart, which will be representing how much of the crypto market is in Bitcoin. We can see currently the 55% of the crypto market is in Bitcoin. I believe over the next month or two, altcoins are not going to be the big gainers. Yes, there's going to be a few meme coins that have 1,000% moves, but I'm not here to gamble. I'm trying to look for the good coins. I'm trying to invest in the higher market cap coins, which are less risky to be rug pulled, less risky to be scammed. Scam coins. What I'm looking at here is Bitcoin dominance. It's at 55%. I believe Bitcoin dominance before there's an altcoin season will rise higher. Yes, we've hit 55%, which for a long time, ever since Bitcoin dominance was about 43%, when it bottomed out 40%, my target has been 55%. So I'm happy buying altcoins now. However, I do think it can go a bit higher. It can even go as high as 71%. But my target really is once Bitcoin dominance hits 60%, meaning more money is flowing into Bitcoin, more people are buying Bitcoin compared to altcoins, more of the crypto market is in Bitcoin. I think that's a point where you start looking at altcoins, because where you're going to make your money is not with a 3x on Bitcoin from the prices we are at now. It's when you make a 10, 20x with the altcoins, 100x with the altcoins, and you want to be buying in, you want to be turning your Bitcoin into altcoins when we push up a little bit higher in the Bitcoin dominance. So my target is about another 10% move up for Bitcoin dominance. And as you can see in previous cycles, for example, we go to the last cycle, which was 2020. Let's just go there to, what was it? It was the July of the 9th. So July the 9th is here. You can see how Bitcoin dominance played out in the last cycle. So July the 9th was over here. We were sat at 64%. We came down a little bit to 57%. And then we had that last push up to 70% Bitcoin dominance. And that's when the real altcoin season started. We were at 70% Bitcoin dominance. And in a matter of, let's see how many weeks it was. In about 18 weeks, 126 days, Bitcoin dominance fell 43%. And what that meant was altcoins went crazy. Altcoins were making 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 X's. I made a few 100 X's last cycle on altcoins. You're not going to make that with Bitcoin. So we do want to find out the area where it's a good idea to start turning Bitcoin into altcoins, or if you're not holding Bitcoin, an area to be buying altcoins. And that's still going to be on the top of my list. Yes, we've had the halving, but the halving is not the most important part. The important part is to be adding to your altcoin positions. For example, if there's going to be any 20-30% corrections for Bitcoin, it might result in a 40% correction on altcoins, which will push Bitcoin dominance higher, which might give you the opportunity you're waiting for to buy your XRPs, your Chainlinks, your Litecoins, your Cakes, your Osmos, your Stellar Lumis, your CRO, your ADA, your SNX, your Filecoins, the new coins that come out, your Casas, your OMG tokens, anything like that. You can really spray and pray when it comes to the 1 year. You basically have 1 year to make a lot of money with altcoins, and that can start in about 3 months' time, where you can just be putting money in any altcoin, obviously knowing that you can lose your money. But it's also in the last 12 years of the crypto markets, you have seen that crypto goes absolutely bonkers when the real bull market starts. When if Bitcoin hits 150,000, 100,000, goes past 100,000, there's going to be so much. There's going to be so many eyes on crypto. There's going to be people coming, a lot of retail coming back in. There's not been too much retail interest in crypto at the moment. When you start seeing Bitcoin go past 100,000, people are going to be FOMOing in. They're going to know they're too late to the party on Bitcoin, and they're going to be trying to buy any other altcoin. And once we have our entries on the altcoins, of course, we already own some altcoins, XRP. We've got the crypto challenge, where we're about 50, 60, 70% deployed. Once we see Bitcoin dominance hit 60, 70%, and we release the rest of our cash, release, as Zach Zate likes to say, once we release the rest of our cash in the altcoins, it's just a waiting game. It's when you have your targets in place where you want to be taking your profits, and then the hard part starts. The hard part is when you see your portfolio going up and you have to start taking profits. You have to set out what areas you want to be making money. So it's easy putting the money in. You can put it in now, you can put it in 3 months' time. But when it's going to be difficult is when you need to come to selling it. And that's why I'm going to be here every single week looking at where it's going to start being high risk on certain coins, your suggestions, your super chats. I'm going to be looking at them, and I'm going to be saying, is this high risk to be holding on to this coin? Is it time to sell? Because when selling is much harder than buying, you can just be DCAing in now. But the Bitcoin halving has happened. It is very exciting. It is a catalyst. What it basically means is there's going to be less supply in the market. There is going to be less Bitcoin on exchanges. It is coming to a point where lots of people want to be holding Bitcoin. Bitcoin is having your own money. There is no middleman. There is no bank. You hold your actual money. It solves all the problems on printing money, all that sort of stuff. Bitcoin solves it. And what's happening now, all those people that love Bitcoin, all the people that are going to discover Bitcoin, there's going to be less Bitcoin on the market for them to buy. It is going to cause a supply shock. And we've seen in the last 3 cycles that has resulted in a 93x, 30x, and an 8x in the price of Bitcoin. So there's no reason to believe that it won't happen again. Yes, there is diminishing returns. My target is about 150,000 to 200,000 on Bitcoin in the next 2 years by the end of 2025. And I do have targets of altcoins, which I won't get into now because Bitcoin's the star of the show right now. But XRP, $5, $10, $15. We've got Shiba Inu that can go up another 1,000%. We've got CRO, which will go past $1, I believe. We've got Dogecoin, which will go past its all-time highs of 70 cents, maybe $1, maybe more. We've got Filecoin, which might hit $100, $200. That's over 10x from now. So if you don't mind, for example, Filecoin can go down 50% and go to $3, but my target on Filecoin is still above $100. So you can decide. You might want to be a little bit in just because we might not get a 50% correction, but you also don't want to be fully invested so that you can buy the dip and make a 200x instead of 100x. So I'll leave that ball in your court. I'm going to finish up the video now on the Bitcoin halving. We are going to be covering it every week and we're going to be looking at specific coins. But if you're not investing in the crypto market, as I've been saying for the last 2 years, the reason I started getting involved with Martyn is because crypto, I believe, has to be part of everyone's portfolio, even though I don't give financial advice. I think it's silly not to be holding crypto. It is the future. Bitcoin solves a massive problem. These altcoins, it's like the beginning of the .com, but it's the sort of the internet. Yes, there's going to be lots of scams. Yes, there's going to be it's going to be very volatile, but great companies, great coins come out of it. And it is going to be revolutionary. We are still very early. It's only been around for 10 years. In 20 years' time, 30 years' time, if you're young, your kids are going to be asking you, where were you when Bitcoin was first around? Why do you not buy more? If you're older, your grandkids are going to be asking you, why did you not buy any Bitcoin? You might be late. You might be teaching them about it. But crypto is here to stay. I believe should be part of everyone's portfolio. The halving has occurred. And it's very exciting.
Thank you, Sensei. A great job as always. Very exciting times now in the crypto Bitcoin world. Thank you very much indeed for your insight there. Click above my head for further links down below in the description. And over here, you'll find more information in the series. Until next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.